Well, hello all you amazing people, I hope you're well. So welcome back to another video. So in today's video I want to talk to you about how I achieve focus within my scenes. Now there's a technique that I use which is called hyperfocal distancing, which is using the lens's aperture combined with the focal length to achieve the focus I want within my scene. Now there is another method out there called focus stacking. Now what focus stacking is taking multiple photos at different focus points and then layering them together later on in post, say Photoshop for instance. Now that isn't a technique that I use, I don't know how to do it, it's completely unnecessary for my photography. And I find that I'm able to get everything in focus the majority of the time using the technique called hyperfocal distancing. Now it's a mouthful, it sounds very complicated, but in reality it is not, it is very simple. I will show you one of my lenses right here. Here is one of my vintage lenses. This is a Bronica medium format lens, and this is a 40mm lens, and in full frame format it's equivalent to about 28 or 24mm. So yeah, it's a lovely lens, but you can see these indicators on there. When I first got into photography and I saw these on lenses, I had no idea what it meant, and it was very alien to me. I thought it was just old school terms that are no longer relevant in the digital world that we are now living in, but this technique is still relevant to this day. And I use it on my Fujifilm X-T3, X-T4 and all my other cameras that I've had over the years as well. Medium format, I've shot on Hasselblad, I've shot on my Canon, I've been taking photos for the last 3 decades. I'm 35 now. So what is hyperfocal distancing? Well, it is using our focal length paired with our aperture and using our focus as well to control and what is going to be in focus. Most cameras have a focus scale, or some cameras have a focus scale. I know my Fuji does. I've got it set up in film simulation mode. I don't use focus peaking, it just gets in the way and it makes things complex, and I've actually found it to be a bit hit and miss at times. So I use the focus scale and then I press a button on my camera right here, which is my depth of field preview, which allows me to see at what aperture my camera is achieving focus. So if I want to achieve focus from front to back, I press that, I set my aperture, I zoom in, I look. If the aperture isn't getting everything in focus, so from front to back, how I'm looking through that preview, then I lower my aperture. I go to a smaller aperture. Say if it was f8, I go to f11 or f13 or f14 or f16 to allow me to get everything that I want in focus, but not necessarily you need to get everything in focus all of the time. Sometimes it can be rather pleasing and nice on the eye where you've got something soft in the foreground and then it leads you into everything being in clarity and then it fades out. So don't think that when it comes to photography that everything has to be in focus. You know, we hear about it when it comes to photo competitions, camera clubs, and also online, like people say that it's a shame that the stuff in the foreground isn't in focus where the background is or your subject is. Well, it all depends on how the artist, you, wants to portray the scene in an artistic style. Now there are times you want to achieve focus from front to back because it will just look odd. You don't want it to look odd, you want it to look pleasing, you want it to look right. So it all depends on the subject matter, the story you're telling, and the scene. Let's use this lens as an example. So I will set it right now. So I'm pretty close to my scene in front of me, and I want to get everything in focus from say 1 meter to infinity. Looking at this lens, if I were to set the lens to f16, anything from 1 meter to infinity will be in focus, which is pretty nice and easy. So that's what I use. So a meter is, it's not far. It's like this sort of distance. It's not that great. When it comes to a lot of my friends who shoot photography, I know a lot of photographers worldwide, and they use focus stacking. And you use a wide angle lens, it's typically going to have a larger focal plane. When you use a telephoto lens, that's when your focal plane will become more restrictive because of the characteristics of the lens, how the lens is constructed, the compression of the lens, and also how the magnification of the lens works with focal length, your focal point, and your aperture. So this one, for instance, let's say we were to put in the same. We're going to do f16 and a meter. So the lens is getting bigger. I don't think, no, it goes down. So the lowest it will go down to f16. I'll line it up. So f16 will be basically anything from 3.5 meters to basically probably 3.8 meters will be in focus, which is very, very shallow. But if I had the subjects off into the distance and I shot at f16, anything from basically, looking at this lens, it's probably about 35 meters to infinity will be in focus, which is, you know, it's so simple. That is just as simple as it is to achieve focus within your scene, but it pays to check. You know, these lenses have a depth of field preview, which is a little button right here, which stops down the aperture. You'll see it's open right now. It's open at its maximum aperture, but as soon as I press the depth of field preview, it stops it down, and then that's when I'll be able to see, looking through the viewfinder, what will be in focus. It's actually very cool. I don't know how it all works. It's just stopping down, it's making a hole smaller. It's allowing for more depth of field. It's scientific, it's fascinating. This is why I love photography. This is why I enjoy it so much, and also learning different techniques and different processes. It's basically using the lenses focus combined with the aperture and distance to subject to control how much is in focus. It's very, very simple, very, very easy to do. It will speed up your photography a great deal, and you can move on to other things. You can create more photos. You know, for me to set this up on location, so if you're new to my channel, I recommend you check out some of my other videos, because I do show you how I achieve focus using hyperfocal distancing. It's so simple, it takes just a few seconds or a couple minutes to achieve the desired effect that I want to be in focus. It's not complex at all. A little bit of science, a little bit of getting your head around things, a little bit of being familiar with your surroundings, what you're in, what you're photographing, and also how much you want to be in focus, because maybe sometimes you want the foreground to be in focus, but you don't want the background to be in focus. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've done a few takes of this to try and get it right. There are so many ways that I could make this complex, but I try to keep it very simple. If you have got any questions about what I've said, pop it down in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you. Yeah, I look forward to running workshops in the future, and if you do come on any workshops, I will teach you this method, and we won't talk about, you know, focus stacking. We will talk about this method because it works, it's proven. I've actually got a photograph that I shot on my Hasselblad X1D with a 28mm lens. I had the foreground, which was about half a metre in front of me, to the hills off in the background. It was these waterfalls, and I shot that f22 on the Hasselblad, and that is in focus from front to back. It was a long exposure, so some of the trees did move, but that scene, a lot of people would just focus stack. There was no need for it, and it just involves more work. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I do recommend that you check out some of my other videos. Then you'll be able to learn, hopefully, from me, and get out there and enjoy some photography. Get out there and take some photos. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll see all of you on the next one. Okay, bye for now, and take care.